Hello friends, my name is Dan, and in this video I'm going to cover why I believe, and I'm also going to show the evidence that I have, that the Office of the Police Complaint Commissioner does not have the authority to act in the province of British Columbia. You may remember in April 2016, I showed up at their office to perform a public trust audit on behalf of the people of British Columbia. Specifically, what I was asking for to see the documentation that they've sworn oaths as per the Police Act, specifically Section 51.01, subsection 1, Article A. Not only was their office not accessible to the public, they refused to show me the documentation. And it's my belief that they refuse to show me the documentation because they don't have it. It just doesn't exist. So what that boils down to, if they don't have it and it doesn't exist, is they're operating outside the Police Act. And by operating outside the Police Act, they're actually committing fraud against the public trust. Now you may remember a previous video I did titled, "Who are the Office of the Police Complaints Commissioner in British Columbia?" If you haven't seen it, check it out real quick. That'll make you understand this video a lot easier. As per their website, the Office of the Police Complaint Commissioner is fair, independent, principled, and, quote, "The Office of the Police Complaint Commissioner provides impartial civilian oversight of complaints involving municipal police in the province of British Columbia. We ensure thorough and competent investigations of police complaints and fair adjudication with respect to all parties," unquote. So specifically, what is this oath that I'm talking about? Well, in the Police Act, Section 49.1 is called Oath of Office, and it says this: "Before beginning to exercise powers and perform duties under this Act, the Police Complaint Commissioner and any acting Police Complaint Commissioner must take an oath before the Clerk of the Legislative Assembly to faithfully and impartially exercise those powers and perform those duties." So Section 49.1 just applies to Stan Lowe, the Police Complaint Commissioner. And if you go down slightly below that to Section 51, it's called Staff and Other Designated Individuals. And subsection 1 says this: "The Police Complaint Commissioner may appoint one or more Deputy Police Complaint Commissioners and other employees necessary for exercising the powers and performing the duties of the Police Complaint Commissioner under this Act." And now I'm going to get into the oath of those other employees appointed under this Act. It's actually in Section 51.01. It's called confidentiality. Now here's where we cut to the chase. Section 51.01, subsection 1 states this: "Before beginning to exercise powers and perform duties under this Act, a Deputy Police Complaint Commissioner and an employee appointed under Section 51, subsection 1, which I just read, must take an oath before the Police Complaint Commissioner to faithfully and impartially exercise the powers and perform the duties delegated by the Police Complaint Commissioner to the Deputy Police Complaint Commissioner or the other employee." Now here's where I take issue with their oath. The main thing is I have reason to believe, as well as evidence, that they are not acting impartially. Quite the opposite, in fact. And this creates a bias, a conflict of interest, and it shows in their work. And it's blatantly obvious when you actually deal with them that they're not there to be independent or impartial or even acting as civilian oversight. Now, if the Deputy Police Complaint Commissioner and the other employees appointed under the Act don't have this oath, they haven't taken it, then there's no obligation to act impartial whatsoever. Why should they? It's not like they've sworn an oath to it or anything. And that's where we come down to the real heart of this video. Now, I made a complaint against a municipal police officer in February 2016, which was actually a big mistake, but I'll get into that later. And in speaking to the Office of the Police Complaint Commissioner regarding the complaint, I did a little digging and I found a lot of dirt. So one of those other employees appointed under the Act is a guy named Brian Thiessen. Mr. Thiessen's job is to analyze complaints and come to a determination whether or not the complaint is going to be admissible or inadmissible. And in speaking with Mr. Thiessen in February 2016 about that current complaint, I wanted to ask him a few questions. Fortunately, I recorded the entire phone call. When I called Mr. Thiessen, it was pretty early in the morning, so I sound a little groggy and I probably felt a little groggy. Also, my cat's trying to get my attention, so you'll hear a cat meowing in there somewhere. Now, I'm not going to play the whole phone call in this video. It's relatively long, and there's also matters that are still before the courts, so I don't want to make this all public right now. I certainly will in the future, but you're just going to hear 2 clips of some of the questions that I'm asking him. What you're about to hear is evidence that the Office of the Police Complaint Commissioner does not have the authority to act in the province of British Columbia. Here it is.
Hello, Brian Thiessen.
Brian.
Hello.
Hi, it's Dan calling.
Oh, hi. How are you?
I'm all right. This is
I wanted to talk to you about your complaint that you had with our office.
This is Brian Thiessen?
Yes.
Is that Thiessen spelled T-H-I-E-S-S-E-N?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're the same Brian Thiessen that discontinued my complaint against police that threatened to break down my door?
Yeah, I think one of the first ones or something, the complaint that you had, and I think after you were dealing with Craig Sampson, I think after that, if I remember.
I see. Yeah.
Okay, so it seems fairly straightforward, your complaint. To get more particulars from you on that.
Sure, I just had a couple of questions for you.
Sure.
Do you have a employment history with law enforcement at all?
Do I? Yes.
Oh, okay. Any chance you could describe for me the definition of the word impartial?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
Oh. Okay.
All I know is that, as far as what I think you're getting at, all I know I've been assigned to your file, so that's what I'm doing right now, is that.
Yeah, I actually find it very disturbing that you would be investigating this, considering what happened the last time you took on a complaint of mine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, you can certainly request somebody else, to another disability person, to look at it.
Yeah, I think that's.
No problem with that at all.
Yeah, I think that's probably for the best,
Okay.
Because.
I have no problem. I can talk to my supervisor who assigned me this and let him know that you want somebody else.
Yeah, because the thing is I had made a complaint about the police threatening to break down my door, telling me to shut up, and then they refused to ID themselves. And here's the thing, Brian. Sorry, my cat's trying to get my attention
No
here.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there, and you've just heard Brian Thiessen admit that he doesn't know the definition of the word impartial. Now, if you think that's good, wait till you hear clip number 2. You won't believe this. Here it is.
Yep, that would have been a decision made by the commissioner, not by me.
Yeah.
Right.
So the commissioner took was sworn to an oath, correct? Hello?
Hello?
The commissioner was sworn to an oath, correct?
I don't know, actually.
You don't know. Have you read the Police Act?
Yeah, but I don't memorize the whole thing. I assume he took some kind of oath. I don't know for sure.
Okay.
I wasn't there. I don't know. so I don't really know
Okay. And
if he did or not.
and is it safe to say that you personally have not taken an oath?
No, I haven't taken an oath.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, because here's the thing, Brian.
All right, well, that should sum up the accountability in the province of British Columbia right there. He doesn't know if the police complaint commissioner, Stan Lowe, has taken an oath. He has no idea. He hasn't taken an oath at all. And he doesn't even know the definition of the meaning of the word impartial or impartiality. He doesn't know. He'd have to look it up. So what's his job? Well, it's quite simple, according to the Police Act. His job is to faithfully and impartially exercise the powers and perform the duties delegated by the police complaint commissioner. That's his job, to act impartially. But he doesn't even know the definition of the word impartial. How can that be your job, to impartially exercise powers and perform duties, if you don't even know the definition of the word impartial? And if you haven't been sworn to this oath before beginning to exercise powers and perform duties under this act, well, unfortunately, you're operating outside the Police Act. It's simple as that. And if you're operating outside the Police Act, which you're bound to, then you're committing fraud against the public trust. And it's in this video, on the date published, that I hereby declare and announce to all the persons in the province of British Columbia that the Office of the Police Complaint Commissioner does not have the authority to act in the province of British Columbia. So if you made a complaint about the police in the past, and your complaint was taken and handled with an extreme bias, now you know why. It's because they committed fraud against the public trust. Because let's face it, if Brian Thiessen doesn't know the definition of the word impartial, and he hasn't sworn the oath to act impartial, well, what about the other employees? Do they know the definition of the word impartial? Maybe, maybe not. Have they been sworn to this oath under section 51.01, subsection 1, article A, under the Police Act? Ha! Not likely. Not likely at all. Because if you think about it, if they had this oath, if they had documentation of it, they would probably provide it when some buffoon who could barely put together a grade 12 education walks through the door and asks to see it. Because he says he's got reason to believe and evidence that they have committed fraud against the public trust. I don't know about you, but if I was in such a high-powered position of public trust, I would probably smack that oath down on the counter so the idiot asking for it could see it right away, and I could send him out of there with his tail between his legs. But if you've seen the video for the public trust audit, you know that's not what happened. Now, I did contact a few news agencies to see if they were interested in this story, namely Czech News, Global News, CTV, CFAX, and CBC Victoria. Only heard back from CBC. They seemed interested, but when I responded to their response, never heard back from them. So if the matters of this video that you've just watched disturb you in any way, I would suggest you call Czech News in Victoria, CTV Vancouver Island, CFAX, and CBC Victoria, as well as Global News BC, and tell them that this isn't acceptable. This is fraud against the public trust, and this was already brought before them, and they did nothing about it. They just ignored it. Does this matter to you? Should this be on the news? Should the media be covering this? Should this story get out there beyond my little YouTube channel, which might get 200 views? The power to make it happen is all in your hands. I've certainly tried. Well, that's it for this video. I'm going to wrap this up here. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, if you have a complaint against a municipal police officer in the province of British Columbia, this is what you're up against. And this is not accountability. Thank you. Hello friends, my name is Dan. This video is in continuation of why I believe, and evidence that I have, that the Office of the Police Complaint Commissioner does not have the authority to act in the province of British Columbia. Welcome to part 2. So part 2 is going to focus on the Deputy Police Complaint Commissioner. His name is ROLLE Woods. Deputy Police Complaint Commissioner ROLLE Woods is one of the employees of the Office of the Police Complaint Commissioner that I have reason to believe, as well as evidence, that he is not acting impartially as per required by the Police Act, specifically Section 51.011A. About a year ago, I went to their office and did a public trust audit, and I asked to see proof of documentation of their oaths. One of those persons I named was Deputy Police Complaint Commissioner ROLLE Woods. Not only was their office not accessible to the public, but they refused to show me documentation of the oath sworn to act impartially as per the BC Police Act. And what you're going to see in this video is proof that the Deputy Police Complaint Commissioner ROLLE Woods hasn't taken that oath, doesn't have it. And if Deputy Police Complaint Commissioner ROLLE Woods hasn't sworn the oath, doesn't have documentation of it, then he's under no obligation to act impartially. So what you're about to see is evidence that the Office of the Police Complaint Commissioner does not have the authority to act in the province of British Columbia. To bring you up to speed, the first time I ever made a complaint about the police was July 19th, 2015. Brian Thiessen, analyst with the OPCC, found that complaint to be admissible. However, before an investigation could even be started, a statement written by Greg Horonowich, Vic PD badge number 422, was submitted to the Office of the Police Complaint Commissioner, denying the allegations of the complaint. Because Greg lied in his statement denying the allegations of the complaint, the Police Complaint Commissioner, Stan Lowe, and analyst Brian Thiessen discontinued that complaint. This was before an investigation even started. In fact, my witness was never even contacted. Upon receiving notice of the discontinuation of my complaint, I inquired where I could appeal that decision. I submitted an appeal in writing through email, and I received a response from the Deputy Police Complaint Commissioner, ROLLE Woods. My appeal letter to the discontinuation of this complaint went like this. Hello, I recently received a notice of discontinuation for my complaint in 2015. I do not understand how this can be and want to appeal this decision, or at least have a very, very thorough explanation, in plain English, for the exact and very specific reasons for the notice of discontinuation. Specifically, why is it okay for the police to threaten to break down my door when it's my right to refuse to open it? No warrants, not under arrest. Why is it okay for 2 police officers on the other side of my door that I did not let into my building refuse to ID themselves before I consider letting them into my home? Lastly, why is it okay for a police officer to tell me to shut up 3 times when I'm asking for their names and badge numbers when they want to come into my home? And of course, ROLLE Woods goes through Section 109 of the Police Act, which basically says that the Police Complaint Commissioner at any time can discontinue a complaint, including before an investigation even starts, including without contacting any of the complainant's witnesses. And ROLLE Woods sums it up by denying my request for an appeal of the discontinuation of my complaint. He says, quote, "There is no discretion afforded to the Police Complaint Commissioner to consider a complainant's request to appeal the decision to discontinue an investigation." Unquote. So here's where things get interesting, and I'm going to come back to this in just a minute or two. In a phone call that I recorded with Brian Thiessen, I told Brian that I had requested an appeal into the discontinuation of this complaint, and that request for an appeal was denied by the Deputy Police Complaint Commissioner, ROLLE Woods. Upon him advising me that I could always appeal any decision, I informed Brian that according to Deputy Police Complaint Commissioner ROLLE Woods, appeals don't exist. Brian Thiessen, however, goes on to state that he remembers an appeal of a discontinuation happening just the other day. So according to Brian Thiessen, an appeal on a discontinuation notice does exist, and they do happen. But according to the Deputy Police Complaint Commissioner ROLLE Woods, they don't happen. Here's a little clip from a phone call I had with Brian Thiessen about it.
I made a complaint. You found it admissible, and then you discontinued it.
Right.
Because you read a statement that the police gave you.
I don't recall the exact reasons why, so I don't have the file in front of me.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, you could always appeal, which you did, and then the deputy commissioner obviously sent you a letter or something like that, and then you can, address that.
He said that
as, for as far as my involvement, I wasn't involved in that part at all.
Yeah, he said there is no appeal. Yeah. So if you're under the impression that there is an appeal process, I'm going to sadly inform you, Brian, you're wrong.
Okay. That's no problem. You can inform me I'm wrong.
Yeah. But and again, you have read the Police Act?
I just know that we had a discontinuation judicially reviewed just the other day, so as far as I'm aware, it can be judicially reviewed.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing, Brian.
So getting back to this response from Deputy Police Complaint Commissioner ROLLE Woods, most of what he's writing here is just he's excusing things and making up stuff in the Police Act as he goes along. But it's what he says at the end here that discredits him and the agency that he works for. And in my opinion, is proof that the Office of the Police Complaint Commissioner is not acting impartial, that they haven't sworn an oath to act impartial, therefore they're under no obligation to act impartial. And the Deputy Police Complaint Commissioner, ROLLE Woods, proves it in his own words at the end of this email. This is how he justifies the actions of police members contrary to the Police Act. He says, quote, "Your upcoming criminal trial may provide you with the opportunity to achieve a deeper understanding of events from the officer's perspective." Unquote. So there's your impartial civilian oversight. Not only does ROLLE Woods deny my request for an appeal, but he also refuses to give any exact or specific reasons for the notice of discontinuation, why my complaint was discontinued. To the point where he basically just says, well, you've got a criminal trial coming up. And if you want to know why we discontinued your complaint, you'll find out there. Seriously? Yes, that's his response. This is the impartial civilian oversight that we not only pay for, and we not only expect, but we rely on. So if you are relying on impartial civilian oversight from the Office of the Police Complaint Commissioner, this is what you're up against. Now, I did send a response back to Deputy Police Complaint Commissioner ROLLE Woods, and it went like this, quote, "Thank you. So just to confirm, my witness and audio recording of the incident is not relevant? Police that make false statements to the OPCC is covered up? Welcomed and supported by the OPCC? Yes. Clearly, it is. Thank you. I will be putting that on record. Dan." Unquote. ROLLE Woods, however, never responded to that email. Now, if we skip ahead 8 or 9 months, this criminal trial has concluded. I represented myself at this criminal trial, and based on the evidence that I presented, the judge found me not guilty. So this criminal trial concluded without me being provided with the opportunity to achieve a deeper understanding of the events from the officer's perspective, as per Raleigh Woods. So I decided to email him after the criminal trial, throw him a lifeline, and basically call him out. And this is what I wrote. Quote, "Mr. Woods, this criminal trial has concluded, and I was acquitted on the evidence that I presented at trial. In fact, Constable Horonowich lied under oath about the details within this complaint, and I made him read his statement aloud where he admits to the allegations I made complaints about. I actually made him look really stupid on that stand in front of the judge after he swore on an oath to tell the truth. I tried hard not to laugh. Clearly, Mr. Woods, you had no intention of acting impartially with my complaint or appeal request. Wouldn't you agree? In fact, this matter was never investigated by Sergeant Brown. I have an email from him confirming this. Also, my witness to this complaint was never contacted. Yet again, the impartiality seems non-existent. I don't want to put this out there without giving you the opportunity to respond. So if you wouldn't mind, could you go further into how I was supposed to achieve a deeper understanding of the events from the officer's perspective at my criminal trial? Seems like you were either making a heavily biased and baseless assumption to protect police members from being disciplined, or were you talking about me understanding deeper how the police lie about incidents and fill in the blanks with fiction in their favor? Which one is it? Could you explain? The criminal trial didn't give me a deeper understanding, as you claimed it might. It actually only confirmed what I've been saying all along. I'm also asking for an apology from yourself, Mr. Lowe, and Mr. Thiessen for the reckless disregard of my legitimate complaint from July 19th, 2015. Cheers, Dan." Unquote. Raleigh Woods, however, never responded to that email. If you'd like to learn more about the Deputy Police Complaint Commissioner, Raleigh Woods, you should visit a website created by Greg Klein. Here's a little bit of what Greg Klein has to say about the Deputy Police Complaint Commissioner, Raleigh Woods. And I'm going to quote Greg Klein directly from his website. Greg Klein says, quote, "Under the direction of career liar Raleigh Woods, Vancouver Police Professional Standards set out in advance to find their buddies 100% right and complainants or victims 100% wrong. Liar Woods and his cronies smeared complainants, interviewed complainants only at the end of investigations, conducted witness tampering, and lied about the criminal code. Police Complaint Commissioner Stan Lowe hired and promoted this liar, ensuring a dishonest police culture prevails at this supposed oversight agency." Unquote. Now, what Greg Klein is referring to when he references buddies and cronies of Raleigh Woods, he's referencing the fact that before the Deputy Police Complaint Commissioner, Raleigh Woods, became the Deputy Police Complaint Commissioner, Raleigh Woods was the head of the Vancouver Police Professional Standards. Do you see how that might be a conflict of interest? So how do you feel about this agency defrauding the people of British Columbia? If you'd like to know more about the Office of the Police Complaint Commissioner committing fraud against the public trust, visit Greg Klein's website, bcpolicecomplaints.org. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more, there's more coming soon.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I found that I had to make a change this ending on my videos, letting you know about the channel and fair use laws, you know, how we can report on other people's reporting and how it's good, how it's bad, etc. But you guys can look it up yourself. It is legal. It's in there. But like I've told you before, that I've been cut off from making money on YouTube for 4 years. It's really weird, bizarre, but they cut the money off, but they said you can keep the channel, and now YouTube makes all the money. And if you get bored, plug it into Social Blade website, and you'll see that they are making a huge amount off the site. Right now it's at 63 million views, 53,000 subscribers, almost 3 million views a month. You know, trying to wake people up, and I make nothing. In fact, I got a customer that's ex-congressman. He said if I could ever find a lawyer, sue YouTube on it. But because this is nuts, 4 hours a day, and to save America. You know, but at the same time, it's worth it. Look at what our founding fathers did. They died for this country. So, but getting back to the money part, this is why I'm redoing the video. Is my dream of everyone giving $1, and it's going to be $53,000 a year, or if they did Patreon, which you know, can be monthly. That is not working. That'd be great if it did. Nothing is perfect. And I appreciate the people that do donate, you know, what they can on PayPal. And there again, I'm letting you guys know that is not much. Is, you know, monthly is, oh my god. So anyways, yes, you cannot live on it. It's very, very, very low amount. But the dollar things, I do appreciate that. But when I first said everybody give $1, that's not working. I'm just I'm just letting you guys know it's, yeah, that dream. Everybody gives $1. 53,000 subscribers, it's not working. So yes, if you can give more than that, you know, I appreciate it. Like I said, you know, I'm in a unique situation where, you know, we're already debt free, and I'm not rich, but with the little business that we have, I am able to do what I am able to do 45 hours a day, you know, letting you guys know what's going on. In 4 years, I've did the whole thing myself. 12,000 videos on there. I literally get emails where people are like, holy crap, I never knew it was this bad. And it is this bad, and it's getting worse every day because we have the internet, we have cell phones, we have cameras everywhere now, and it's just disgusting what's going on. And then, as you guys know too, now we got Trump, we got Jeff Sessions doing a war on drugs, and now he wants to go after the forfeiture laws again. It's just unfreaking real. So if you can give more than that dream of everybody giving $1, yeah, that old video, that's not working. They're not. They're just not. So anyways, if you can give more than that dream is not working. Hardly anybody is giving. There you go. So that's why I'm remaking the video. If you can give more than that would be great. And there again, like I said, the Patreon's there. There is some people on there that are starting to give, but there again, it's very, very low. And like I said, I don't want to get rich off of that. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because, you know, it's still so stinking corrupt. It's not even funny. My court case that I'm going to be paying out of my pocket myself with Charlotte County's coming up. They illegally looked me up and then posted all my information on LEOAFFAIRS website. They basically doxed me, however you want to say that. I forget what the word is, and they outed me, man. And that information on that site went out to 500 sheriffs, deputies, people that work at the jail, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, it is very, very scary, but we're going to do a federal case, 1983 case, violating freedom of speech. We have 17 cameras in the house now. We got 2 cameras in the car. I always carry a camera plus a cell phone. A lot of people are highly recommending I get a vest now. If I could, if the wife would let me, I would run for sheriff. We are trying to push the thing nationwide right now, where just to mix it up and to get the topics out there is register to run for sheriff, NPA, no party affiliation, as a write-in, and that is completely free, and you can participate in the elections. And there's a lot of stuff. We got a guy, James McLinnis in Pinellas County, Tampa, who almost won. He experienced the corruption himself. The story is unbelievable. Look him up. It's mind-blowing what they did. It pissed him off. He is very, very smart. He has way more money than I did. He ran for sheriff at the last 3 months last year in 2016 and almost won. He got all of the black vote. And the reason why he did that is because he ran in, I will not bust, we're in Florida, I will not bust anybody for weed anymore unless it's an ungodly huge amount, like pounds. And then he also ran in, no more victimless crimes, no more of this freaking road pirate bull crap. And then he was going to cut the budget by 30%. And when you think about that, you can. If you stop the road pirates, you can get rid of a bunch of people. Gone. So, the wife has been saying, yes, I can, yes, I can't. So I don't know. We're trying to find somebody that can do it because I am busy doing this anyways. But, so I'm making a video, like I said, that $1 a month from everybody, you know, for 53,000 subscribers, that is not working. I'm just letting you guys know. Absolutely give way more than $1 a month. If you can, I appreciate anything. By the way, remember too, when you give that, PayPal takes like freaking 15 to 20%, so it's even worse than that. But, and there again, like I'm letting you guys know, it's way, what I get is very, very low. Appreciate it. But it is very, very low. Can't live on it. I'm just, you know, I'm working, and that's what I'm working on. And that court case is going to cost a buttload of money. That's federal court. Just the filing fees and the depositions that we're going to be doing with this corrupt cop. So there's another reason to give. We are going to be doing a deposition with this very corrupt. He was in a drug squad. He is a bad guy. He's on steroids. We heard steroids are rampant here. That's why their attitude is so bad. And we are going to get him on video, and it will be on YouTube. So that case alone is $5,000 just to bring it to court, and that's my money out of my pocket. So there's another reason to give, and give way more than $1 if you can. So keep that in mind. This is the new video, and I see, God, I talk a lot. It's already 7 minutes, but had to make it just to let you know that $1 a month from everybody is not working. They're not doing it. So if you can give more than that, please. So thanks. Keep it up. Share, like, subscribe, tell your friends, send me your videos on corruption, and I'll post it.